What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to be talking about my first impressions of southern Vietnam and what I wish I knew before going there. This is my very first time in the southern part of Vietnam. I've been there years before. Pre-COVID I went to the north and I explored the north part, and I think the southern part of Vietnam is completely different somewhat. I won't say completely different, but definitely different in my opinion. And my visit hit me with quite a lot of surprises that I didn't expect. Some surprises like the price of food. I went and go in there thinking it was going to be super cheap, or cheaper than Malaysia anyway, but it was a hit and miss. Street food is definitely very cheap and good in some places. I spent most of my time in Ho Chi Minh, which used to be Saigon, and Phu Quoc. I know I pronounced that right. The locals told me, but I'm saying it wrong, but sorry. But Phu Quoc, and this is where I spend the majority of my time. And so I'm going to be talking about my impressions of these two places. So I'm going to focus on these two places, and I'll talk about my daily spend, what transportation was like, what was getting around both places, because Phu Quoc is an island, so you have to commute via flight. How safe I felt moving around, and I moved around and explored. I hired a scooter and I moved around. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. And English, for you guys that speak English, if English is widely spoken throughout Vietnam, especially in the southern part. Before we go further, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And before you go, hit that like button too. You're here anyway, just hit that like button. Let's go. Okay, let me start with cost of living. Let's talk about money and spending. What my daily spend would be. Again, Ho Chi Minh, which is the capital, versus Phu Quoc, which is the island. I found Phu Quoc a little cheaper than the capital, but again, it depends, right? When I travel, especially when I travel to Southeast Asia, I like to get really nice hotels and stay in nice places. So all that stuff can be costly. But again, so I don't generally eat in hotels. I like to walk around and explore and eat in different places. But I definitely found Phu Quoc cheaper, and kind of a little bit more option to eat. And I found the quality of food a lot better on the island than in the capital. So in Vietnam, they have Vietnamese dong. Guys, this is very important, guys. Be aware. Me, when I travel, I take cash, because again, you would need cash, guys. Do not rely on just cards and your credit cards, because there'll be some vendors, some shops and stuff like that, especially when you start exploring outside of the capital, where they're only going to be accepting cash. And with their cash is big bills. I'm talking about big bills. You are holding millions in your pockets, in your wallets, or whatever it may be, in your bags. So the money is big, meaning you having hundreds of thousands, like 500,000, 100,000, 200,000, all the way to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 bills, right? So it can be very confusing. I'll give you an example. I went and got a massage. A massage ran me about 300 dong. That's about $15, right? So it depends where you go, and full like an hour massages. I'm talking about just massages, guys. Calm down. Get your mind out of the gutter. They're gonna run you between 300 to 600, depending where you are and where you go. Like I said, I don't like going to hotel and all these fancy places. Sometimes I do, but generally I like to support like the local, so I go to local spots. So I paid $15. Now, after a nice, amazing hour massage, back when I did my feet, I always like to tip, because remember, you're paying for the massage, and the individuals don't necessarily get. I don't know what percentage they're going to get out of that money. So I'd like to try and tip them as best as I can, so they can put it in their pocket, right? So again, lights is a little lower, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking through my wallet, and I ended up giving her, thinking I was giving her 50, because I wanted to give her 250s, which was 100,000. I actually gave her 500,000, right? Instead of thinking I was giving her 50, I gave her 500,000. So literally I gave her a tip of $25 or something like that. Yes, $25, about $30. I'll say $25. It was $25 in tips. So the massage plus a tip. So I end up spending about 500 to 3. I end up spending 800 just in that one massage, because you can get confused with the food, especially if you're Russian. You can get confused with the money, so you have to always take your time, especially when you're in taxis. I use Grab and I use paying cash. A ride could be 200 to 400. It could be a 20,000 to 40,000, depending where you go, right? Short distance or whatever it is. We took a lot of short trips, but we also took a huge trip where we went from the south all the way to the north, and that was like about 600,000, which is about $30. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to be careful with your bills. I would recommend keeping higher bills and just getting a change and using the smaller bills as tips. It's not gonna be a lot. It's gonna be, you're kind of taking a piss in a sense, but get rid of those lower bills, man, because if you're in a rush or something, you could end up easily, like I did, giving a 500 instead of 50. So let me give you a little bit of a breakdown prices wise. Like street food will run you about 35 to 70 dang, which is about $1 to $2. Coffee is massive. Two things that's massive in Vietnam is coffee and beer. And beer, local Vietnamese coffee, which I absolutely love, and I would recommend you getting Vietnamese coffee because they produce lots of amazing coffees. Sweet but amazing. I prefer that than regular coffee. And that runs you about 20 to 30 dong, which is about $1 to $1.25. Great thing if you're on a budget. This is Vietnam is a very budget friendly place. If you're on a budget, I haven't done it because I'm a big dude, so I'm not jumping on the back of the scooter. But they have Grab cabs and they got Grab scooters where you can get a scooter and you can hop on the back of a scooter, and that's a very cheaper way to get around wherever you are in Vietnam. And that could run you between 25 to 50 depending on distance, and that's about $1 to $2. If you're taking the regular cabs, now that can run you between 30 to 60 to 30 to 200, 300, all depending on distance and where you're going. Airbnb is Ho Chi Minh City is going to run you between 450 to 600. And that's like $18 to $25, and that would be low budget. It's not going to be nice places. I didn't stay in Airbnb. I stayed in a hotel, and our hotel, Vietnam, the most expensive thing would be accommodation, especially if you're staying in a hotel. If you want budget, there's loads of budget hostels and renting apartments, and that would be a lot cheaper. But when it comes to hotels going to run you between $50 to $150 per night, depending on the location as well. If you're in Ho Chi Minh, my suggestion would be staying in District 1. I stayed in District 1 and District 3. I prefer District 3, but if you're new to the city, I'll say stay in District 1. But bear in mind that's going to be a lot more expensive. Service. I will talk a little bit about service. And this is a little bit controversial because, again, depends who has been to Vietnam. I've been to Vietnam twice. This is my second time. First time I went to the north of Vietnam, and I absolutely loved it. And I found them very polite, and just the service there was amazing. Now in the south, I thought service period. And I want to talk about just customer service in hotels, cafes, bars, restaurants. Was all overall good, depending on star rating and how nice it was. The nicer place, great service. Although I went to one brunch place, which was absolutely amazing, but the service was horrible. I mean, you had to like wave those waiters down, like, yo, and there was like 6, 7 of them to get served. But I mean, again, majority of them are youngish, so I mean, you have to understand this is a tough job. Hospitality is a tough job, so half the time a lot of them don't want to be there, but it is what it is. But depending where you go, like you go and walk around the market, do not expect to get good customer service or them being polite to you. I actually found, I'm not saying everyone, so calm down, not everyone in Vietnam, but I found in the south quite rude actually. People in the south a lot ruder than in the north. Getting around Vietnam, southern Vietnam is pretty easy, especially in Ho Chi Minh. Not as easy on the island, but you still can. There's still a little bit the buses, but Ho Chi Minh, there's buses, very cheap buses. But again, too, that I struggle with because I don't speak Vietnamese, is a lot of people do not speak English. English is not very widely spoken. So getting around on transportation, especially local transportation, is going to be flipping hard for you unless you speak Vietnamese. Trying to get to certain places, cost, whatever, it's going to be. So I would recommend not even doing that. But Great thing still about, especially getting around the capital, is you can jump on scooters, grabs, jump on the back of a scooter. It's about $1 to $2, $3 depending on the distance. You can get a grab, car, which will take you wherever you want. Getting around Ho Chi Minh is not as expensive. I found it a lot more expensive. Grabbles were a lot more expensive on the islands than it was in Ho Chi Minh. But the great thing, this is why location is very important. Like I said, a good central location would be District 1 or District 3. If you can get those two locations, that'd be amazing. I heard, yeah, let's just stick to District 1, District 3, because you can walk around more majority of the time and find whatever you may need. Especially in District 1, all the tourist stuff is literally in District 1, and District 3 is close to District 1. And that would be a great location. You can just walk around. It's a decent city to walk around, but warning, guys, it's a great city to walk around and look at sites and stuff like that, but crossing the road, you got to be careful. There's no crossways, there's some lights, and you just have to cross. I'm talking about traffic. Shit was crazy, right? So if you coming from Western, wherever you're coming from, Europe or America, and you're used to sitting at you see the zebra crossing, and you're like, oh, cars gonna stop. Cars, bikes, scooters, none of them motherfuckers are stopping. So you just have to kind of sprint across the road. So safety and cleanliness. Honestly, I felt really safe. I mean, I didn't see crime. I barely saw any police. I definitely didn't see any police in Phu Quoc on the island. Didn't see not one. I saw security guards, but not one police. Hardly saw any police in Ho Chi Minh, but there are some. Actually, my second hotel was next to a police station, and I still didn't see any policemen or women. So, hey, but crime is very low. I'm not saying there's no crime. There's definitely going to be petty crime, especially towards the tourists, because remember, you're a mark, you're a target, and wherever you go, you have to understand that, man. This is low poverty, and people got to come up somehow, and it's just they're gonna come up off you. So you gotta be careful. Keep your phone closed, whatever. Just recognize your environment and just try and stay safe at all times. But generally, I felt safe. I didn't see any fights. I didn't see anything. So it was generally safe. I walk around by myself at night, but obviously I'm a bigger dude than me. No one fucking me. No one's messing with me like that. But I definitely say for women, solo travelers, I think this would be perfectly safe for you. You guys would be good. Cleanliness, I mean, it was clean enough. It's definitely not as clean as Malaysia. I want to say Bangkok and Ho Chi Minh. I think Ho Chi Minh was a little cleaner. Bangkok just better. This pavement just better, well kept. Ho Chi Minh, there's a lot of like pavements that cracked. You gotta guys, when you're walking, you gotta be on your P's and Q's, because you can literally hit a hole in the ground or broken pavement and fall and hit your face. I hit one. I didn't trip, but I'm always careful when I walk. So walking, and oh shit, God forbid that you have to like walk a distance to your hotel and you have to carry your bag. You probably have to walk on the street because the pavements are absolutely shit. So bear that in mind. Food. Now this might not go down well for a lot of people, but I'm gonna be honest. Fuck it, man. I didn't really like the food like that. It's funny because I've had Vietnamese food before in different countries. There's loads of Vietnamese restaurants here, and I actually enjoyed it here. But again, that's westernized. A lot of the foods in Europe and America, they westernized it. It's not the same as in Asia. I definitely wouldn't say it's top 5 of Asian cuisines. Absolutely not for me. And like I said, this is my second time in Vietnam. First time up north, I found the food better. Yeah, I didn't really like the food. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I tried everything. I didn't really like the food. I even tried ants on steak. I didn't know it was ants. This silly ass girl made me try it, and I didn't realize it was fucking ants. These are ants. Anyway, I'm just saying, forget the ants. I just didn't like the food. Period. I didn't find it fresh. I found the food on the island of Phu Quoc a lot better. It was a lot more fresher. But again, Phu Quoc is a little weird because if you don't find the local spots, it was very westernized and chilled. But so it was a weird one. But I didn't rate the food like I would if, for instance, if I compare it to Malaysian food, Thai food, Japanese, Filipino food, all those are winning. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've been to Vietnam and how you like the food compared to like Malaysian and Thai. I mean, or maybe it was my experience, but like I said, I didn't like the food like that. So language and English speaking is guys, if you can't speak Vietnamese or speak small one, but actually you don't need to speak Vietnamese no more, guys. We got AI. Just go to AI Translate and or use Google Translate. You're good. Actually, scrap that. So it really doesn't matter if they speak English or not. But again, to me personally, I don't want to spend like an hour on my phone just going back and forth trying to get have a conversation and trying to buy something or get somewhere. So that's kind of annoying, especially in the capitals. I understand when you go outside of the capital, but in the capital, people don't speak English, man. In the hotels, people just everywhere. So English is not widely spoken at all. So you have to bear that in mind. Make sure you have your Google translator on your phone ready to go. In the tourist parts, tourist attractions, tourist bits, yes, people want to speak English. I'm not saying no one speaks English, but it's not widely spoken. A lot of Vietnamese do not speak English. So, just getting advice and getting around or saying, recommendations is going to be tough. So best time to visit Vietnam, guys, is December to April. Now, depending where you go. In the southern part, yes, December to April. In the northern part, December is raining. I've been to Vietnam, the north part of the Vietnam, and it was raining half the time. Very cloudy and pretty chilled. So I'm talking about the southern part, guys. This is for the southern part. You would have to do your own research for the northern part. December to April is a perfect time, but dry season, but it's going to be peak season, so it's going to be more expensive, a lot more sunny days and hot days, but a lot more people, travelers. Rainy season between May and November, so I definitely would not recommend after May. I went there end of April into May, and it was good, sunny, some rain here and there. First day in Ho Chi Minh it did rain, but it's tropical. It's a tropical place, so it's going to be like tropical rain. It's going to rain for like an hour or something like that, and it wasn't super like hard rain. It did rain on the island, and it was like stormy days, but it was perfect. It rained like at night, like at midnight, and it rained for like 3 hours. It didn't really rain in the daytime at all, not once. So if it did little showers on the island, Ho Chi Minh, it didn't really rain in the daytime either. Rain at night. So a cheaper period would be, like I said, April to May. I reckon it's a perfect time. Less people, not peak season. So again, just depends, right? But remember, May to November is going to be rainy season, guys. So it's going to be a lot more rain. So overall, southern Vietnam is an adventure. It's an adventure. It's a shocking adventure. Some good, some bad. But it's an adventure nevertheless. And you're going to have an amazing time. End of the day, if you've never been, it's a great experience to go witness it. Anytime you travel to somewhere new, you spend money, you go to a certain place, you never come back home and regret you spending money. Traveling is one of the most humbling and the most enriching things that you can do. So, like I said, I'm gonna do another video for that. Let me just stick with this. But I had a good time. Yeah, a good time. I had a good time. But I personally, Ho Chi Minh was but I personally loved Phu Quoc Island. It was absolutely beautiful, stunning island. Aside the dirty ass beaches, aside that was amazing. So I loved it. If I would go back to southern part of Vietnam, I would 100% go back to the island. But Ho Chi Minh, I'll only spend a day, 2 max. Ho Chi Minh was cool. Ho Chi Minh is just not Bangkok or KL. But look, overall, amazing experience. Definitely recommend southern Vietnam, also the north. So it depends, guys, on your time schedule. I only had 2 weeks, but I would recommend spending like 3 weeks or like a month and do half. And you see there's a bit of a difference. Even though you're in the same countries, there's a bit of difference. But again, for budget travelers, this is a very affordable country, very budget friendly, and you could just move around the country and see it. People are cool. Not as friendly as you know, the Thai and the Malaysians and the, you know, Filipinos, but hey, but still great, cool, and you know, hey, it's a beautiful country to go see. You gotta experience it, so do it. Hit the like button if this helped, and if you have any recommendations, hit it in the comments. If you have any tips, let me know in the comments as well, please. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel for more Southeast Asia, just more travel period, Europe, South America, wherever it may be. And I'm bringing you more of these videos so you get a little insight, you get in-depth information. So when you go to these countries, you can navigate, or most importantly, before you even go to these countries, you know what to expect, and you can book and plan accordingly. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Till next time, peace.